We sincerely apologize for that lacking audio connection with Honorable MP, but we just finally confirmed he's online now via phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, please. We are so sorry in this back and forth challenges. It's technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it speaks to the importance of the subject being discussed. It's so heavy that technology would want to deny the opportunity to discuss it.
Yes, however, regardless, we'll still, where there's a will, there's always a way.
Definitely.
So, yes, we want to get into a conversation with you this morning concerning this street lights, lack of street lights that pose a serious threat to pedestrians and drivers that ply the routes every single time in the evenings, especially. Probably Ajele is also here with me. To start off on a conversation on this, is it that there hasn't been any street lights since time immemorial, or probably there were street lights and probably, you know, have all gone down the drain years after?
Well, there hasn't been any. I mean, ever since I started schooling in Kwawu, some many years ago, over 20 years ago, I have not seen street lights on the mountain. And it's quite worrying, especially looking at the potential of the place. This is an area where we tout ourselves as having very unique tourism attractions scattered across the various towns in Kwawu. And we have had persons visiting us even during the evening. We have hotels and all of that in Kwawu. So it's not proper, and it's something that we have started speaking to authorities, and I am happy about the responses that are coming in. So I wrote a letter somewhere in July to the Ministry of Energy on the need to have lighting on the mountain. I mean, prior to that, we had secured over 200 street lights that we wanted to fix on the mountains. But because the area is not connected to the national grid, it became impossible. So you need a lot more work. You need a lot of engineers some engineering work to be done.
Sorry to ask you, when was this? When were these lights procured, if I may ask?
Yeah.
Well, they were procured before the election. Before the election, but so I wanted to do it myself as a member of parliament. One of the things I wanted to do was that I was going to talk to, we have a lot of big people in Kwawu. So I was going to talk to them. So I have the lights. If you buy a pole and we fix it, you're able to fix either your name or your parent or anything that you want on the mountain. That was a concept I wanted to use to lighten the mountain.
Okay.
But I got some private contractors to do an assessment of the mountain, and clearly, because the place is not connected to the national grid, it becomes practically impossible to use a wired street light. It means that we may have to rely on the solar. And the cost of solar is unbearable. So I wrote to the energy minister. I spoke to him personally in parliament, and he gave me the assurance that he was going to work on it. Last 2 weeks, my municipal chief executive informed me that a team from the Ministry of Energy have come to do an assessment on the mountain, and I am excited about it. I have sent a message thanking the minister, and I'm hoping that they come back with something positive. Aside the tourism, the effect on market women, women who ply their trade in Afram Plains, those who go to Subone, Adosu, and all those areas to buy foodstuffs, they usually travel at dawn. And we have had incidents where armed robbers have attacked them and taking their monies and all of that. And at night, I mean, these big vehicles, they have very poor lighting system. So you wake up in the morning and you realize that some of them I mean, they've had an accident, not because they clashed with another vehicle, but because of poor lighting, they could not negotiate through our caps, and it's quite worrying. It's a trend that we want to reverse.
Yeah.
But Honorable, you mentioned that Kwawu is a place that everyone wants to be there. The tourism sites over there and stuff like that. Now, you've spoken to the Ministry of Energy. They've come to assess the place. How long would it take for the mountain to be put on the national grid? It is not even a good thing to hear that the mountain is not on the national grid to even have street lights on. So how long? What is the process? How long is that going to take for us for us to be put on the national grid and then have the lights mounted?
To say that the mountain is not on the national grid should not surprise you, because that's not an area where people habitate. It's not an area where people would want to spend the night. People would also put up buildings and all of that. I have very, very serious areas where people do not have light. People have not slept in light since they are. So I appreciate your concern, but I'm as worried as you are, and that is why I would want to follow up with and in fact I woke up. I wanted to drive very quickly to your place, but traffic around Sprinters. I came last night at about 1 a.m. just to be able to join this interview, because it matters to me, and the kind of advocacy that I'm getting this morning on the street lights is very valuable to me. So I'm as concerned as you are. The area not being connected to the national grid, I am a first timer. This is my first time. I see this as priority, and I'm working on it. I'm sure that my predecessors might have done one or two on it, but I think that it's important we solve this problem immediately.
But, Honorable, I know, I understand your concern and your worries because it's your constituency and it's a very beautiful place during the day, but at night it's a no-go area now. But, there are people who are building closer to the mountains. Gradually, people have bought parcels of land. People are developing the place. So it should have been on the national grid years ago, because it's a beautiful place. People come from that place. They come to Accra, make money. They go back, furnish, build up homes. Other people have come and created vacation homes, hotels and stuff. During Easter, it's a place that everyone wants to be. And it gets overpopulated. Everybody goes there during Easter. If it hadn't been for COVID, this year we would all have been there enjoying ourselves, making merry. So why is it that we still weren't put on? And I really need to understand that. How long would it take? Because the Ministry of Energy has come to assess the place. So how long is it going to take for Kwawu, the mountains, to be put on the national grid?
So like I said, it's all about priority. I don't work with the ministry. But the most important thing is that it matters to me, and that is why I'll be doing continuous follow-up. I'm sure that there will be some positive response, if not by end of this year, early next year. We should be seeing some solar lighting on our stretch. Yes, there are a lot more people who are putting up buildings, but so if you put up a building and there's no electricity, you try as much as possible to extend electricity to your building. It wouldn't make economic sense for the person, the individual people involved to want to, as it were, provide electricity on that stretch. So it is the responsibility of government. It is the responsibility of policymakers like myself to follow up. That is why the people voted for me. And for me, I can tell you my experience on that stretch. One evening, I wanted to drive down Koko myself. In fact, I got so scared around 12 a.m. that, the speed I used in descending the mountain was quite worrying. So, like the drivers express, it's the same concern that I have. I'm worried that such a huge mountain, a mountain that has huge tourism potential. Even somebody climbing the mountain alone can fetch a taxi driver some money. And if at night there are no electricity on it, then we are not tapping into the potential of the place, the tourism potential of the place. So as part of all this, trying to rejuvenate tourism in Kwawu, trying to make tourism an all year round, not just Easter or not just in September, Yanko Kwawu. We would want to put lighting in there. We are doing several things just to be able to engage.
So let me throw this. Let me throw this real quickly to you, just to test the success of this project you are working on. Yeah. I mean, you have dealt with governance at the constituency level. I'm very sure you share experience in how some of these things. You know, I know it can be quite dragging to get it done. However, what have been the conversations with past or previous MPs who have probably attempted this? Do you have any idea the challenges they faced or what reasons why? Because I don't think it's been blind to them as well.
Well, I have no idea, and I would not want to speak to such commitments. So I sent your producers a couple of letters from my office, and that from the Ministry of Energy. That shows the kind of efforts we are putting in to address this challenge. I think that the past is gone. Let us look at the future. That for me matters. And I am happy that I'm the Member of Parliament now, and it is something that concerns me. And I'm going to go at every length to speak to the minister or to continuously engage the Minister of Energy, the Minister of Tourism, and the Minister of National Security, because these are issues that border on national security. These are issues that border on tourism. To see how best we can solve the challenge. But like I said, I mean, if you were to write a letter in July and you get a response and a visitation in less than a month, it clearly tells you that the ministry is also attaching some level of importance to the lighting situation on the mountain.
Honorable, in the interim, before you said probably by next year we could have street lights on the mountains. Now, I want to ask, in the interim, people are still traveling up the mountain. They're applying the road because they're traders. There are people who come there to visit family and so on and so forth. What is the plan to keep them protected? Because the armed robbers will not go away easily. And then the lightning system traveling up the mountain is still as dangerous as ever. So what is the plan to keep them protected?
Yeah, so we have a dedicated police team that patrol the area. They are in task to clamp down on these armed robbers. Some of these armed robbers, there are people that mainly engage in car rearing. People we call the Fulanis. They have come there, and it's been successful. I've seen incidents where some of them have been arrested. We are doing our possible best, but I have also advocated to the market folks that now we have a lot of electronic payments. Mobile money is able to accept up to about 10,000 or 100 million old Ghana cedis. I've told them in all my engagements that instead of having this money on you, we can all engage in trading using electronic payments. And this is not something that is difficult. So instead of carrying 10,000 cedis on you, you can have it in your wallet and transact business wherever you go. And this is something that is widely accepted in Ghana. Virtually everybody is engaged, whether you have education or no education. People are engaged using mobile payments. And it is one thing that I am advocating for. Any platform that I get to speak to market women, I tell them of the need to as it were, use mobile payments. And that is why, for instance, one area where I'm focused on is improving on the telephony system, rural telephony, in areas where we have huge markets like the Intomims and the Bipons, Kairas and all of that. how we are able to get them onto the telephony system so that market women who go there can easily send payments to the farmers and the market folks and the women who have come to apply their trade. So these are some of the things that we are doing. But I'm very hopeful of the response from the ministry. And you know, luckily for me, I sit in Parliament with the minister. I sit in Parliament with the deputy ministers, all three, and I've told them my concerns, and they seem to appreciate what I'm talking about. So let's be hopeful, and I thank Joy FM for this advocacy. Clearly, putting a lot of light on the challenges that I have in Kwawu.
Honorable, I wanted to find out from you, what is the role with the role of the district assembly in this particular situation? How can they help?
Well, I am a member of the district assembly. I'm a member of the municipal assembly.
Okay.
So it would have been prudent. I mean, if the municipal assembly had the funds to put up or to ensure that the mountain is lighting. But I sit there, I know the amount of money that comes and the huge demands from the assembly. If we even had the resources to, as it were, ensure that we can even extend electricity there, it would have been proper to, pay for it, because I have the lights. As we speak, I have the lights in my warehouse in the constituency. But the challenge is that we are looking at cost, first of all. We're also looking at test cases. You know, most of these guys who deal in the aluminium and all of that, you see them climb these mountains. You see them cut coppers, wires that are used for this stuff, this kind of things. So we are also guarding against issues of stealing the wires. And that is why we are advocating. The consultant tells us that we should be doing solar instead of the normal. And the cost of one solar light is beyond our budget as an assembly. That's why we are relying on central government to come to our aid.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm excited that you have prioritized this as it leads to a very industrious town. And we do hope that this will be resolved as quickly as possible, and all the right steps are being taken by you to make this happen as well. We are clearly in support behind you. We'll make a follow-up with this conversation again to find out about in a month's time.
Definitely.
To find out what's happening with this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable, for your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for driving all the way to make sure you'd be here for this conversation. It means the world to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.